From DC Blades, the same wicked minds that brought us the Ceto and the soon-to-be-released Glaurung, comes the very first Pikal to not only make it into my rotation, but to gain a permanent spot in its own pocket. We're going to be looking at the Ameight MK-2, and I'm going to tell you how you can keep your beef jerky safe for less than $60. Stick around. What it do, Kripple Krew? EDC with DVD, disabled but deadly, and I'm glad you're joining me for another trip into the crazy twisted minds over at DC Blades. That's the homeboy Tier 1 Gear and EDC reviews and Old Squirrel Knives, the tag team to form DC Blades. And you guys are already aware how much I've been a fan of their previous designs. The Ceto is one of my favorite knives ever, and one of the first knives to get me to start carrying titanium. The Glaurung, very recent acquisition. This will be released any day now. Is such a sick budget EDC tactical beef jerky defense knife. And this most expensive version, the silver twill carbon fiber, by the way, when these drop, will be $90 shipped in the US. But these guys specialize in beef jerky defense knives, martial arts style knives like Pikals and Karambits. Knives that, while I find very cool, have never become part of my rotation. I have reviewed several, and the only Karambit I currently own is an OTF Karambit, and I didn't own any Pikals. But when I was talking to DC Blades about purchasing this knife and getting it in to review, they made me a screaming deal on the MK-2 as well. And the MK-2 was a knife that I was already intrigued by. I had seen designs for this. I got to see sneak peeks of this knife before it released, and it definitely intrigued me. But when I got this knife in hand and in pocket, it completely changed the way that I pack my daily rotation. So, the Ameight Blades and DC MK-2 comes in at 7.22 inches overall length with a 2.99 14C28N Hawkbill blade with a flat wash or a flat grind and a black PVD finish. We have a handle length of 4.23 inches with aluminum scales and a steel attitude adjuster, or we'll call it a backspacer. Our blade stock thickness is 126 thousandths, and the weight on this comes in at only 86 grams. And now I need to convert real quick. I thought I had that available ready. 86 grams is 3.03 ounces. This knife is so comfortable in hand. It's crazy. And it puts you in a perfect position to defend your beef jerky. So it's locked up. This is the first Pikal or Karambit that I have experienced with a crossbar lock. And why is that important? Well, if you've seen my videos, you know that I say frequently that I always recommend a fixed blade for beef jerky defense, but you use the knife that's on you at the time. And not everybody wants to carry a fixed blade knife. The convenience of a pocket knife definitely has its appeals. But when you're trusting your life to a knife, I mean, this is for a specific situation. This is for defending your beef jerky. And when you're trusting a knife in that situation, you want to know that you have, if it's going to be a folding knife, you have the strongest lock that you can. And a crossbar lock is one of the strongest types of locks on the market for folding knives. If you're not aware, these studs right here are attached to a bar right there, and this has a nice chunky crossbar. Very, very chunky crossbar. That bar goes over a spot on the tang of the blade and locks in over the top of the tang to keep the blade locked into position. We also come into contact with the stop pin here, providing extra side to side and up and down stability. I have zero wiggle or play at all. And a crossbar lock is finger safe, meaning your fingers are never in the path of travel of the blade as you close it. So, very, very, very strong lockup. One of the best locks you can find on a folding knife. And finger safe. These are not attributes I typically associate with Karambits or Pikals, most of which I have handled have either been frame locks or liner locks. And when we say finger safe, this is the exact opposite. I have to put my thumb in the path of travel of the blade to release the lock and close the knife. This, by the way, folks, is the Kubi Wrath, which is a Karambit, and it gives me a good chance really quick to explain the difference between a Karambit and a Pikal. So a Karambit has the blade hooked away from you and is really made to be used in a beef jerky Avenger grip. And this is where it's comfortable. This is a knife right here that you could use for a lot of punching, but the Karambit is made for slashing cuts that slice away from you. You can turn this around and hold it this way and slash away from you if you so choose, but it's definitely made for a beef jerky Avenger grip, whereas a Pikal has the blade facing you when it's in your grip. So this is made for a beef jerky defender situation. We still have the ability to punch and jab. Well, a jab is a punch, but we have the ability to strike with our guard here. But the Pikal is used in like a clawing motion. And while I recommend getting training with either knife if you're going to carry either one of them, I do personally find the Pikal to be a little bit more intuitive than the Karambit. So it really comes down to preference in how you want to use it if you ever get to that 1 in a million situation that calls for it. But the issue for me, with carrying something like a folding Karambit or Pikal is that it's taking up pocket space and adding weight, and it's never going to be my primary knife. This blade, this Hawkbill blade, is definitely a tactical style blade. Oh, by the way, a Karambit, I said, is made for the beef jerky defender grip. But if you had to open a bag of beef jerky from behind, say, like say the throat of beef jerky bag, the Pikal blade facing towards you works great for that type of motion. Or if you're starting to tie a Colombian necktie, a Pikal, I should say, a Pikal works great for that. So back to materials. Let's get back to materials for a minute. These aluminum handles, these are solid aluminum, so there's no need for steel liners except for up around the lock itself. And aluminum helps keep this nice and lightweight while being very, very strong. This frag texture is great for locking it into your grip and keeping it from sliding. And we have a great PVD coating on this here. Our pocket clip is tip up as the gods intended. It's a milled titanium pocket clip, and it is reversible, which is awesome because a crossbar lock is reversible, and the wave feature is going to work from whichever pocket you're pulling it from. So this allows you to carry it on whichever side you prefer. If you're lefty, it lets you put it on your dominant side. Or if you're right hand and your dominant hand might be busy with a cordless hole puncher, it allows you to put this on your offside. Now, to open it, of course, we have the blade hole opening there, which you can use to roll it out with your thumb. You can thumb flick it, though it's not the easiest. You can reverse flick the knife, as I fail it. And of course, you can open it with that crossbar. But it is the easiest of the wave features that I have yet used. And it was the most intuitive to start drawing immediately from my pocket, open and in my hand every time. So by wave-like feature, what I mean is that these grooves right here, these cuts in the blade, grab your pocket as you're drawing the knife so that when it comes out of your pocket, it's open and ready to use. And it immediately allows you to have it drawn and ready. And I just messed that all up. Oh well. Drawn and ready to go in your hand every time. I love this one because this one works very easily for me in a seated position too. I'm sitting down right now. I just put it in my fifth pocket. And if I draw, all I got to do is pull it backwards against the pocket a little bit and it comes out in my hand ready to go. I know you can't see that, but what I'm doing right here off camera is just pulling it out of my pocket and it's open, and as soon as I close my hand, the knife is already in my hand ready to go. Some wave features on knives, not all are created equal, even though they're all made to do the same thing. Grab your pocket on the open. This one, I've been able to successfully draw over and over again out of every pair of pants or shorts that I've worn so far, and it fits in my fifth pocket. So it has become a dedicated part of my daily carry in my fifth pocket. And it's the first knife like this that is specific to beef jerky defense that has earned a spot like that in the rotation. It's light enough that it doesn't bother me to carry it. And I know that in that 1 in a million chance I ever need this for what it's intended for, it's going to be ready every time. Now, I do recommend, of course, if you're going to be using anything with a wave feature, that you practice drawing it and that you continue to do it and try it with different clothing that you're wearing to make sure that it's going to work with whatever you have on that day. Our Hawkbill blade comes to a nice slicey edge. And this curvature here is going to trap materials in here for the cut, but this tip is also going to bite and just pull its way in to anything that it comes into contact with, but especially organic material. When this bites in, that tip is going to go in and it's going to pull everything right into here, into the middle of this blade for maximum wound opening. I'm trying to keep my language YouTube friendly, folks, but this type of blade is definitely going to do severe damage to organic material in a quick manner and allow you to get out of there. It truly is the most comfortable Pikal grip that I have handled yet. And I did not expect that when I got that knife with the Glaurung, that it would be the Mark II that became a permanent part of my rotation. I love carrying the Glaurung, but you know, it does rotate in and out. I've carried it pretty frequently, but it rotates in and out with other knives. Whereas this now lives in my 5th pocket or in my 511 tactical pants, my front right magazine pocket. Here's a couple of quick size comparisons. There it is next to the Glaurung. Here it is next to the Cito. As you can see, it's longer than the Glaurung, maybe slightly shorter overall length than the Cito. How about a Spyderco PM2? Everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of folks are familiar with the size of the PM2, which is quite a bit larger than our Mark II. Let's do the Flightanium Arcade Light, which is going to be slightly larger than our Mark II. And one more. You guys know I love my TRM Neutron 2. And it's going to be slightly shorter overall length by just a little bit than our Glaurung, our Mark II. Right about the exact size. So, that gives you a good idea of the size. $58 and change is what this is coming in at on Ameight Knives, or on the Miguron Knives website. Ameight, Miguron, they're the same company. They're sister companies of the same organization. And the other two knives I just showed you were Miguron OEM'd. This one's considered Ameight OEM'd. And they really nailed it. And the value proposition is fantastic on this. And I'm recommending these knives, even though I do not have an affiliate code with either DC Blades or Miguron Knives. So I'm not going to make anything on you guys purchasing these. But I do think that if you were to get this, it would become the first Pikal that became part of your rotation. And one day, it might save your beef jerky. And for less than $60, that's a recommendation I can make all day. I'm a huge fan of the Mark II, if you can't tell. But I want to know your thoughts. Do you carry a Karambit or a Pikal? Would you carry one if it, if it was comfortable to you, if it was fit your pockets, all of that? Would you carry one? Let me know down below. I hope everybody has a killer day, night, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay frosty, but most importantly, folks, stay deadly.